Janice first. Janice, if you had a question, you can unmute yourself. We can't see you yet, but we will be able to see you shortly.
Okay. Hopefully.
Yes.
All right. It's great. This was a great presentation, and I was very, very impressed by this project. As an owner and occupant of a net zero energy building, I really liked that you worked with a client and included their specs and desires into your design decisions. And I want to probe a little bit more about how you made those decisions. You mentioned at one point that you're going to use LED lighting for the theater, which is apparently an innovation. I don't know much about theater lighting, but how, given that, and you're willing to go there with your clients on that, what other innovations did you incorporate, or did you lean into proven strategies to get to net zero energy and to get to this beautiful design? So how did you balance that out?
Going overall the wellness of the people, focusing on that, and also the other sustainable strategies such as the solar, and as we have the solar wall on the one side, and the glazing, optimizing the daylighting in the building, and that's probably the most focal points, and having the efficiency and the electricity in the building.
That's okay, I see you, that's fine, and I hear you, more importantly. Thank you.
Hi. So I have a question in regards to the facade. I'm just trying to understand where everything goes, because there's a lot. You have the solar walls, you have the PV system, you have the tectonics prefabricated panels. Can you just walk me through the facade and where everything goes?
Okay, so on the ceiling, or not the ceiling, the roof. The roof, it was just not the imagery. The roof of the building, there would be a solar panel, an array system. We have it on the site plan. It's like, you can see the type of array system that they would have on the building, similar to that. And the facade that we used was this louver system, and that's kind of more emphasized on the center part of the lobby to also allow daylighting, but not too much daylighting. Did that answer your question? Kind of.
Can you just go around
Yeah.
the building, like literally, your own elevations, like here's
Yes,
this, here's this,
yes.
Oh, okay.
here's this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
see,
okay.
that's-
So here we go. There's louvers right here. Well, only mainly focused, but there's also louvers along the minor windows that we have on the building. But it's mainly just focused on the centerpiece. And the materiality that we used was wooden paneling and a bunch of cross-laminated timber. That's the structure.
So those are the Benson panels.
Yes, yeah, everything other than this center glazing is the Benson Wood Tectonics panels.
Okay, and you have the solar. Where are the solar panels?
The solar wall.
Yeah.
The solar wall is on the south side of the building. These are the solar wall systems right here.
And they're fixed on the Benson wood tectonic
Yeah.
panels. Okay.
Hey, we're just changing the order. Sorry. Hey.
Yeah, nice presentation, guys, and gal.
Thank you.
One of the questions I have is the solar wall that you've got along in sections there on the south exposure. How are you coupling that with your HVAC? How do you distribute that in the building?
So the air runs into that solar wall and is heated up on the facade of the building by the sunlight, and it rises up and goes into the ERV and makes its way into the air handler, and then it's distributed throughout the building.
So on your plan there, there's something on the roof behind each of those solar walls. Is that the ERV that you're talking about, or are the ERVs in those air handlers that are roof mounted?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I assume that they're inside of those air handlers. Did you guys put up on there?
Okay.
I'm still curious about this louvered system and how it gets, because it appears to, in your plan, it sort of floats, right? It sort of, you have this bar that's a couple of stories, and then you have this curvy thing. So how is it supported? What's it connected to? What is that space between the bar and the curvy thing? I love the curvy thing, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. It is the space between, you know, as you enter the building, it's kind of like that storefront, like the most iconic part of our building. So as you enter that, that's what the first thing you see. And you go inside, you can see that from the inside too. The interior is just curtain glazing, so I can't reach up there, but the full right there, that's just curtain. And so you can see the exterior. Yeah.
And so that would be like unconditioned space in there.
And is it like a curtain wall system? Is it?
So it would be like the wooden pieces coming down, and it would be attached to like a steel structure underneath.
So there's slats? So it's porous?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's just individual.
It's just a
strips
screen.
of wood. Yeah.
It's not closed.
Sorry about that, I just couldn't get it in my head.
Second round of questions, Janice? Janice, did you have more questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Dave, did you have more questions?
Yes, of course. My first question is, on the diagram showing the solar hot water, is that domestic hot water or is that heating hot water? It's domestic, so it's making hot water for the sinks and kitchen and
Yes.
what have you. Okay, very good. Can you talk a little bit about the zoning of the HVAC system? Your narrative said that there was two systems, now one for the office and one for the theater. I didn't get a good feel as to how you're zoning it and, you know, thermostatically controlling, sorry, I'll try to learn. Thermostatically controlling for various zones and comfort.
Yeah, so we have the office side and the theater side split up into two separate HVAC systems. And like I said, the theater side uses duct socks and things like that just because it's a bigger, more open space. And the theater side, we use the raised floor. Under that floor system, we have a ductless system. And the office is broken down into multiple zones to allow for different levels of air into that because of the windows that we have and the daylighting stuff. That causes the areas to be heated more, so we can change up how much air is taken into those systems and just allow for more comfort and more energy efficiency.
Okay, and the raised floor, do you have that subdivided then? Does it match the walls of the structure?
Yeah, so we have the walls that separate the different zones go all the way down to the original floor, and then the raised floor is built in between those, and then we also have partition walls built on top of that raised floor.
Very good. The atrium that you have, did you consider any sort of smoke control or fire ratings that are required for atriums?
The atrium, you mean the lobby space in the center?
It's in the multi-floor space.
Yeah.
There's one of your
Oh, yeah,
renderings
the
that
office
shows
space.
like 3 floors or something. Yeah, right there, yeah.
Yeah, we considered that space, so there is technically, it's open like to itself, and then inside every single door and the walls would be that fireproofing. So it needs a little bit more work on, I guess.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Holly, do you have more questions?
Was there a structural engineer doing the CLT and blue lamp sizing? I was curious about the depth of the beams.
No, we had our friend from the concrete club.
He was in contact with
he called
with a bunch of different companies to get stuff sized and to figure out which products to use. But
That's why you have friends.
yeah.
You gotta have connections.
You have 5 minutes.
You have 5 minutes. You're welcome to talk to the students, do whatever you want with them.
What, those rooftop units that are on your renderings, what are those? Are they packaged HVAC units, or are they DOAS units? I didn't see anything like in the narrative that really
I thought we
described.
mentioned it, but yeah, they're packaged VAs.
Package VAV, so heating, gas fired,
No, everything should be electric.
electric, okay. Do you know what the total tonnage of your building is?
Not off the top of my head, no. Sorry. Speak a little bit, yeah. Sorry.
Maurice's question, I know you had something. Did you have it? It's okay.
Well, I just appreciated that you actually costed this. It looked much more accurately costed than most of the other projects. And so, again, just how did you do that? What was the process for getting good estimates? And because you said 600 and something square foot, some people are saying 300. So it's just interesting.
So basically, out of all those phone calls that our friend did, pardon the phone, and he sat there and talked to everyone, trying to get the most accurate number as he could. And so we took all those from every single system, all the materials that we used, the structure materials, every single thing, and then we kind of just sat there and just did all the math, and then we came up with an estimate of a number. It came out fairly close too. And it's a new construction. Just so you guys know. One big Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, a lot of numbers.
So how many do we have time?
So 3 minutes.
Oh, Gracie had a question.
Yeah, one more question. So there is no, apart from the entrance or where we have the screen on the south facade, yet there's no glazing at all on that facade?
On the south side?
Yes.
There is, yes. I don't know if we have.
Can you use the mic, please?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we do have south glazing in the lobby space. There's the they're kind of like shading devices that are coming down right here. It's kind of the same in the front, and they're acting as shading as well.
And so there's none for the office space on the south?
There is.
There is some glazing on the at the lower end, right? Yeah, this kind of wraps around the entire around the whole base of the building.
But this is the north. I guess my question, I'm just
But
thinking
yeah,
up to
it's the
was
same
there
thing on the south.
sort of like solar analysis done?
Yeah.
Those solar analysis done too.
So the question was, is there solar
was
analysis
here.
done?
Yes.
Yes.
It's, you,
Sorry.
So my last question is, did you guys contemplate opening your center area roof up to the local skateboarding community?
We actually considered that. We saw it.
Did you?
Then,
Go cool, is
Yeah.
there time for one more question?
There is, suddenly.
Okay. You know, as you're going through your renderings, I was so impressed about the fact that you worked with the client, the theater group who's going to be occupying this space. Was there any interaction with the neighbors across the street in those single-family homes? How do they feel about this going up right across the street from them? In the renderings, they look pretty close.
Oh, that was the one people we actually didn't contact, and as David was saying, it was more respecting the height, so we could have just stacked everything up. So we respected the height of them, and also adding an additional aesthetic to that main facade.
It's also, the residential is just on the edge. It's actually a part of a larger industrial area. So you do see the single family residences, but it's actually right next to the school and right next to other big industrial spaces.
Okay, thanks. Oh, I'm sorry, more, tell me more.
I was just gonna, the current site is actually an abandoned old industrial site, and it's pretty bad looking. And so I personally feel like it would be a major upgrade to have something like this in your front lawn versus an old warehouse and some rundown property.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
That is time, sorry. Cheers. Thank you.